This is a story of Dave and Sharon finally living their dreams of sailing to the Caribbean and beyond. Join us while we share our adventures from getting the boat ready and embarking on our cruising life.
All right, so we had some projects for today. Well, first of all, we were supposed to leave Port Canaveral today to head down. And we were supposed to leave Port Canaveral to go down to No Name Harbor, meet up with our buddy boat, the Seduction, and head over to the Bahamas. But the wind conditions aren't too good. We don't want to motor for 2 days straight into 10 to 20 knots, 25 knots winds straight at our bow. So in about 4 days, the wind's going to turn around to northeast, and we'll be able to ride from behind, which is what's starting. So we've done a bunch of cleanup and a bunch of not cleanup. But the today's, well, I'll show you what yesterday was. We were about ready to go, and I was pulling the dinghy up, and I noticed that the solar tower dinghy davits was kind of loose. So what happened was, and we'll put it right here, you see right down in there, I didn't put plates on the outside here and there. They're on the inside, and then it's pulling the bolts out. It's crushing into the fiberglass. So I'm gonna have to get up in there and fiberglass inside that hollow, and then I got stuff for plates. In the meantime, I put this big shipping strap all the way back here. I put one down in here to tie her together, and there's one on the other side. It goes all the way back to the chain plates. So we got that done. I took the motor off, and the dinghy is plenty stable. It will work that way. In fact, it will hold the motor too with those straps. But the next projects, that was yesterday's, and since we decided yesterday last night to delay our departure, I did one more project today that I was hoping to get done before we left. I polished the windows. Look at that. Polished the windows. That one's open, obviously. So we can now see where we're going instead of where we've been. Could hardly see out of these. And what did I use? 303 aerospace protectant and a fine foam buffing pad for the start. Then I wiped down that with a rag, and then I used a fine foam buffing pad for the first dry pad, and then I used the woolly buffing pad to buff it up after that. There's still a little milkiness. They're not brand new windows, but boy, we can now see. We had a hard time seeing before, and I bet you the water's going to bead right off of those. This is our neighbors, Isabella, the dancing couple. Do you mind? I'll send it to you.
I hope you didn't get the fall.
No.
Thank you.
No. I'll give you some video. The boat's rocking on him. Look at this beautiful Isabella here.
It is hard to dance on the boat.
It is.
Yeah, we're going to use that as an excuse.
Beautiful Isabella. You can see them on YouTube. Sailing intermission. The dancing couple. I don't hear the bow thruster. No. Wow. Okay.
It doesn't work?
Now go turn the fan off.
I can't.
You can't turn the bow thruster fan off?
Kelly, you have to turn the bow thruster fan off. Off? Bow thruster's not working. We'll get the fan after we leave.
But it might be stopping the bow thruster. Come on, bow thruster. All right, we're gonna go. We don't have a bow thruster. You want to let us loose just a little? Let us loose? Yeah. We don't have a bow thruster, so I'm gonna. Oops.
I will get it. So we're finally leaving the dock. We are heading to the Bahamas, and it's much later than we planned on having to leave the dock. We had all those extra things to fix, and we had people helping us. Unfortunately, I can't find the footage of our trip from Cape Marina all the way to Miami, so we'll just have to tell you about it. We're leaving with a buddy boat.
And meeting another buddy boat down there, so there'll be 3 of us.
Yeah. And of course, you know, it's a beautiful day. We're heading out.
It's windy too.
Well, not at the very beginning in the harbor, but
Yeah.
but yes, it got windy after we get out of the harbor. And we went with our daughter and dog. They came along for the trip. So we're just about out of the harbor, with jetty park on one side and land shallow rocks on the other side, and the motor stops. It just quits, goes dead. What do you do? It's like you can't sit there floating and spend time fixing it. So, what did you do?
Oh, is this for me? Well, the first thing I did is drop anchor. And made sure that it grabbed the hold, so that kept us from going into the rocks. And then I went down to assess what was happening with the Perkins motor. And after looking around at it, what had happened was the motor has a lift pump on it, and it has this little tiny lever that you push up and down in order to prime the fuel. If your fuel ever runs out, or you have to, you know, fill up again, or for whatever reason, you have to prime it with this little pump, and it takes half a day to start that motor. So I had put a 12-volt pump in there, just a fuel pump that you get at any auto place, in order to prime the motor. You just connect it to the battery with a couple alligator clips. And when I put it in, it's mounted in there with a rubber hose, and I made the rubber hose too long. So what had happened was the hose bent like this, and it caused a kink in the hose, and that cut off the fuel to the Perkins. So it worked okay when we were just at idle speed or just above that, but as soon as we put any as soon as we revved it up a little, it choked off the fuel and caused the motor to stall. So while we were sitting there, I just cut off the hose shorter, put the hose clamps back on, used that primer pump to prime it. It took all of, I don't know, 3 minutes to get the motor primed back up again, and we were on our way.
As we said, we just went on our merry way, headed south The weather was beautiful sailing. And
Well, we sailed for a while, then we had to go into motoring, and went through the night. The waves were kind of short period, so it made it a little uncomfortable on us. And the next morning, it looked like the waves closer to shore weren't as bad, so we changed course to go in a little closer, and it kind of bit us.
yeah, so we're so glad we have an Amel because it is really good for super rough sailing, any kind of rough sailing, and any obstacles you come across. What do we mean by that? Well, we hit a buoy
Yeah, when we changed
head on.
course, I guess I didn't look far enough ahead or expand it close enough to see where those yellow buoys were, and those in their big metal floating buoys. And kind of hit it at about 6 knots, 5 to 6 knots,
And boy, that was really scary. But it did a little bit of damage. It bent our bowsprit. It's bent, so now we have a bent bowsprit for now until we can get it fixed.
yeah, and the anchor caddy got a little bent up,
And we got a gouge below the tow rail.
and then a split just below water level, but it didn't go all the way through. And yeah, a couple gouges on the port side, but nothing really happened to the boat. It just kept chugging. I think a whole other model, a lot of other makers of boats, they would have been heading towards the marina, or calling tow service, or sinking, because
Yeah.
these Amels are built super solid.
So we are glad with that. We, other than being shaken up, we continued on our way all the way to Miami.
No Name Harbor in
Yeah.
Miami.
And it ended up being calm when we were going through there. We anchored, and we got there at night in the dark, and we had to hurry up and get the dinghy down to get the dog out because the waves, it was just too rough for her to go, so she held everything and didn't go use the pee pad or anything the whole way down. That was about 38 hours, and we immediately went in so she can do what she needed. And then the next morning,
Well, we went into town.
we went into town to get preparation, just to do last minute preps so that we can go.
And then we helped I helped, jumped on our buddy boat to swing around to a marina
So he can get some fuel.
so he could fuel up and get water. He's got a 42-foot
Valiant.
and it doesn't hold that much water or fuel. So every chance he got, he had to stop and fuel up. But I helped him get into the marina.
And we met up with our other buddy boat. We just did all the last minute preparations that we needed to do and got in the boat. The next morning we headed over to the Bahamas. We stopped at Bimini overnight, and it was so super calm all the way from Miami to Bimini and Bimini to Chubb. And I guess what we did is we go south.
Yeah, you have to, out of Miami, we go south first, and then take a left, go ahead east, and kind of sail straight across, but the current brings you north back up to Bimini.
Yeah, so that's,
And basically we went past Bimini, and they have what they call the magenta lines on the charts, and it's where it's a known course to go across, no obstacles, and it's deep enough. So we sailed out along that for a while, and then headed south off from it in the evening for about a mile or so, 2 miles, just so we're not anywhere near that, because boats set their autopilots and just go, and they'll hit you in the middle of the night. So we sailed south for a couple miles and then just anchored out in the middle of nowhere. It was calm. The depth was a grand total of maybe 20 feet. So, and sand bottom, so anchoring was easy. It's a good thing the wind didn't kick up, or it could have been rough out there, but it was dead calm. And the next day we motor sailed over to Chubb.
We want to say thank you to all of our viewers who have subscribed and commented. We appreciate your support and feedback. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. This really helps us build our channel up so we can keep bringing you more videos.